Me to turn my video on earlier than I wanted to.
I didn't pressure you. I just said I didn't see you there. You could have just said I'm here. Video is not required. All right, 7 o'clock. Everybody's back. Call the meeting to order. Alderman Atkins has agreed to lead us in the pledge, so let's start with the pledge. There's a flag in the background if you need to see a flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Alderman Blumker. Alderman Chevalier.
I will second that.
Thank you. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Linda, do we need to call roll on this one again too, since we did on the last one, or I kind of called everybody's name out too, so okay. For next item on the agenda is the committee reports. Alderman Chevalier, do you have anything to report?
Yes, we had a pretty good, productive Parks and Rec Committee meeting last week. One of the main key takeaways for discussion was the basketball court, and I believe that the committee was going to recommend it be placed where the existing playground area is. So that should be coming forth soon, I believe. And then additionally, we kind of talked about the dog park and how it's possible that that might be moving, again, some movement. Some of the discussions, I even had some discussion with some of the county folks, and I think that they are going to be putting this here pretty quickly. So I think it might happen probably by this fall. I don't know, Cynthia, did you hear anything else?
I have not heard anything recently. Within the last month or so, I've had conversations with Nicole Brown, and she's indicated a desire to schedule a groundbreaking. So, okay. But I've not heard back from her since then. I actually just put on my list to give her a call tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I think what I found is that they were going to push it to like some final approval or something like that, is what they told me. So hopefully that we'll get something here shortly. Actually, you do remind me, I think there is still some approval required through the Corps that might be delaying that process. So I think it's downtown for approval there.
Okay, thank you, Alderman Chevalier. Next item on the agenda is the City Administrator's report. Ms. Wagner, do you have anything to report? You're on mute.
I realized that after I'll be quick, just information included in the City Administrator's report, but to highlight a couple of items, we, as of yesterday, have received 15 applications for the Small Business Cares Grant, and those closed this Friday. Then on July 21st, we will be bringing the touchless fixtures bid information back to the board for action, and on August 4th agenda we will have recommendation for award of bids on the Wi-Fi for Heritage as well as the boardroom sound system. We've met with folks to provide information to create specs for both of those items. Also included in your packet are photos from upgrades to the restrooms at Smiths Fort Campground. I want to thank Matt and the Parks and Recreation crew for those improvements. The shower houses and restrooms at Smiths Fort Campground reopened last Friday, and late this week, early next week, they will begin similar renovations in the restroom at Heritage Park. And then also have a picture of the renovation at City Hall where Mayor Boley is sitting in the boardroom. There we go. Basically, the only things left in there for this initial phase are the ceiling installation of the ceiling tiles, which will be yet this week, and a walkthrough on the punch list. Delivery of the dais is anticipated 16th, correct, Dan? So we're closing in on completing that.
Sounds good. Next item on the agenda is number 6. Alderman Blunker.
I move to approve bill number 2861-20, creation of the CARES Act stimulus funding, second reading.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Atkins, thank you. Any discussion? Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Sarver.
Aye.
Alderwoman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Atkins.
Aye.
Alderman Yuldahl.
Aye.
Alderman Chevalier.
Aye.
Alderman Blumker.
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance creating the CARES Stimulus Fund.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is number 7. Alderman Atkins, you almost got called on there. Alderman Blunker.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve bill number 2862-20, budget amendment number 2 for the second reading.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
It's Alderman Sarver's hand first, sorry. Any discussion? Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Blumker.
Aye.
Alderman Chevalier.
Aye.
Alderman Yuldahl.
Aye.
Alderwoman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Sarver.
Aye.
Alderman Atkins.
Aye.
6-0.
Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance amending the fiscal year 20 operating budget to add $945,400 to the revenue budget and $945,400 to the expenditure budget.
Thank you. Item on the agenda is number 8. Alderman Blunker. You're on mute. Let's go to someone else.
I still move to approve bill number 2863-20, annexation of 2412 Northeast 157th Terrace for the second reading.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
Alderman Atkins, seconds. Any discussion? Seeing no hands, clerk, please call roll.
Alderwoman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Sarver.
Aye.
Alderman Atkins.
Aye.
Alderman Yuldahl.
Aye.
Alderman Blumker.
Aye.
Alderman Chevalier.
Aye.
6-0.
Thank you. Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance annexing certain adjacent territory into the city of Smithville, Missouri.
Sounds good. Next is number 9, Resolution 793, Alderman Sarver.
A motion to approve Resolution 793, reimbursement for prior CARES-related expenditures.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Wilson seconds. Any discussion? All in favor of approving Resolution 793, please say aye.
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 All opposed say no. Motion carries. 1 second, please.
Meet you. And then
You guys are in?
we got it set up here.
Next item on the agenda is number 10, resolution 794. Alderman Bunker.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve Resolution 794, amend Addendum 3 of Authorization Number 79 for Streetscape.
You do I have a second?
Second.
I'll go with Alderwoman Wilson. Before we start discussion, we have a couple of public comments. So just so everybody knows the rules, state your name, address for the record, and each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. So who wants to? Oh, they're here? Oh.
We only got the one camera.
First.
Do you want to get out of here? Want me to go? I can.
Is it okay if they take off their masks while I'm speaking? I think it's up to you.
Does everyone else maintain a 6 feet distance?
Yep. Got about 20.
We're all good. Hi, I'm Leanne Rick. I live at 332 East Main. I've lived there for, what, 38 years? Excuse me. I'm really hoping that you agree to go with 5-foot sidewalk and not be, not like totally against the walking trail. But I didn't like how far up it came to my front porch. It went right almost through the middle of my yard. The people next door to me, it took away a substantial amount of their parking, I feel like. I'm concerned about the safety of people crossing from the north side of the street over to the south side of the street, as well crossing there back and forth. It's a pretty dangerous intersection. I've seen a lot of close calls and accidents since I've lived there. And I just grew up at the street, so I've been in the neighborhood my whole life. I think that there might be other options, like taking the walking trail through the park where there's already an existing walking trail and up by the side of my house and out to the Litton Center without necessarily disturbing the sidewalk in front of our houses. We also talked about taking the sidewalk out to the curb and was told that that couldn't be done. But I just realized when I was going up Commercial the other day that sidewalk butted up against the curb. And I don't understand why it's okay there, but it's not okay in our neighborhood. I didn't plan anything, so I'm kind of shooting from the hip here. I am totally against an 8-foot sidewalk in front of the house. See what else. I hope you really reconsider the configuration of your plans for the neighborhood, because I think it's a general consensus. It's not that we're not necessarily for the walking trail, but we really don't like the design of the walking trail. Thank you. Anybody else want to talk?
Might as well. I'm here.
State your name and address for the record. And
Pardon?
state your name and address for the record.
Okay.
And then try to let the comments to do that.
My name is Carl Jones. I live at 328 East Main. I've lived there for almost around 40 years. And the sidewalk's been very adequate at this point. And like Leanne was just mentioning, that for a walking track going out to wherever it's going to, come up from the backside of our house, go out. It'd be a lot simpler. I think it'd be a lot cheaper for you folks. And the first plan I seen, you was going to put an 8-foot in. Don't like that one because it's going to eliminate a tree in my front yard that's been there for 40-some years, and that's going to really make me mad there. Well, break my heart because I'm so tender. But and in the future, when you're doing projects, I think you ought to notify the people involved through a registered letter or in person with witnesses show that he was there. A registered letter would be best thing. That way you know you got a hold of them and they got notified. And I'm not real fond of the sidewalk situation, but I know we're a city that's supposed to be taking care of the public. And I don't know if that's taking care of them, other than just putting out there where it's going to be a wider track for kids to be racing on, stuff like that. But I think the sidewalk there is very sufficient. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I'm Shelley Rasler. I live at 322 East Main. I recently bought this house, so I knew nothing of any of the proposed sidewalks. I just know I work at Pax Hardware. I love the small little town. And I'd like to keep a small little sidewalk if possible in my yard. I mean, I enjoy the yard. All of our neighbors do. We have a tree that's been there forever too. I just feel like kind of getting boxed down a little bit by the side of my house. We'll have a parking spot. The back of it's already the park, and the front's gonna pretty much eat up my yard. And
Me too. I live at the other end.
yeah, she lives at the other end on the corner. But you know, I'm new to this. Wasn't even aware of this going in until I got notified by you all. So I just know I like my yard and like to keep as much of it as I possibly could, if at all possible. And I would also be in favor. I ain't got no problem with the sidewalk, a nicer sidewalk. If you could come to the curb, you know, from the road and from the curb, maybe not have a nice little grass 12-inch strip in there, because that makes it harder for everybody to mow and stuff anyway. So I just thought, yeah, it's just weeds and doesn't look very good now either. So hope y'all consider a smaller sidewalk. And I would, you know, I don't see why the park couldn't just go like behind where it's at now and on up and around. But that's just me. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. So we have one other person online. They're to comment on this item or a different item. All right, Jared. Jared, are you here to comment on this item or something else?
Yes, I'm here. I was just here for to get the document for our football fields approved.
Okay, cool. So you're on that agenda item. Got it. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll open it up to the board. You're on a giant TV, so I can kind of see you. So please raise your hand if you have any discussion. Alderman Atkins.
I noticed that we went from 8 foot down to 5 foot. Is there any reason for 5 foot? Can we do a 3 foot or 4 foot?
Well, if you look at the sidewalks on commercial, those are 6. And anything under 8 is our trail standard. So city maintains trails, not sidewalks.
Okay.
Sidewalks are your responsibility. So anyway, it's public comment and stuff, so it's we'll discuss it. Alderman Atkins, so it's we went from 8 to 5 because of where the temporary easements were, and 5 keeps it in the right of way. That's right.
Yeah. The reason for a 5-foot sidewalk is because some of it's for handicap access. I mean, you got to have a certain width, and you know the 36 inches just isn't adequate for some people with mobility issues. A 5-foot sidewalk is what I recommended several months ago. That goes to a minimum residential standard sidewalk. I think out here on Main Street, the first couple blocks of your streetscape project, we have 5-foot sidewalks. 5-foot sidewalks also allow, you know, 2 people to walk side by side or one to pass without having to necessarily step off the sidewalk into uneven area. There was a little bit of discussion why 3 foot off the back of the curb. I know the one on Commercial Street is on the back of the curb. I don't recommend that. If a kid's riding a bike and accidentally steps off that curb, they're right in the line of traffic. It's just like any other area. You want to have a little bit of safety area where people can recover, so they're not just stepping out into the lane of traffic. When we plow snow, it's going to be right on that sidewalk, and people aren't going to be able to get snow off those sidewalks. You know, so that's a big issue in the winter. When those snow, you know, the snow plow goes by and they plow a big mound of snow and that refreezes, that's really hard for residents to get out there and move and open that sidewalk back up. So that's some of the reasons. It's more comfortable for pedestrians if they're not walking directly next to traffic that's passing by. And that's the reason why we're trying to make, you know, sidewalks, trails, and make this more pedestrian-friendly area. So, does that help?
Yes, sir. Very valid. Thank you.
So did I pick up that's a 3 foot distance between the curb and when the sidewalk starts?
Correct. And right now, the footprint is back a curb, 2 foot to the sidewalk, 4 foot sidewalk. We're going back a curb, 3 foot, and then a 5 foot. So we're only moving the back of the sidewalk 2 foot closer to the homes. The city owns 13 feet of right of way. So versus the 8 foot, we had 4 foot and 8 foot, which put us at 12 foot, still a foot off the right of way. But now we're going to be 3 foot, 5 foot. So we're going to be 8 foot off the back of the curb, leaving 5 foot off the right of way. So we're still leaving, as Ms. Raffler mentioned, you know, the yards are smaller on that side of Main Street. And so we're trying to keep the sidewalk from being so much of an impediment. So the recommendation is we're reducing, you know, the distance between the curb and the sidewalk and the width of the sidewalk to help accommodate some of that. It's still all right of way, but it's more of a feel of the neighborhood.
Yeah, and I very much appreciate the right-of-way aspect of it. My concern is actually going from 8 feet to 5 feet in a pretty short span there.
Well, yeah.
The entire north side will be 5 foot. It turns to 8 foot once you cross Liberty.
Right.
Okay.
So the trail will be consistent on the south side all the way across, all the way to the bridge and out to the rest of the dam.
Right.
Yeah, the document in the packet was kind of hard to follow in that specific area.
Yeah, and also the construction area heritage to Litton Way is all part of the ballot language, correct?
Yes. So Alderman Blumker, if you want, I can pull that up on the screen and
Nah, it's fine.
You can zoom in on it so you can see. I noticed that when I looked at it earlier today too. I thought, boy, that's really hard to see.
Yeah, when you zoomed out.
Yeah.
You can walk it with me, you can see it. But yeah, it's more of keeping it consistent with the residential area like we have at the beginning of the streetscape. And then streetscape ends at Liberty. And then trail begins at Liberty.
Yeah. And we will maintain an 8 foot in front of the park area. You know, it's just, there'll be more activity there. So we'll have the 8-foot there.
Any other questions? The board? I think everybody's up there. Somebody's missing. I can't see the hands of everybody. Anyway, okay. All those in favor of approving resolution 794, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
What'd you carry? The pipe fed?
Yeah, the resolution to do engineering for 5 foot.
See how quick he is. Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution 795, sports league contract.
Second.
All right, next item on the agenda.
You got a motion and a second, Mr. Mayor.
What's that?
You got a motion and a second.
From who, you? All right, any discussion on the sports league contract?
Did Jared have a comment?
I think Jared's just here in case you guys had questions.
Great
Jared,
job. I love it. Keep it up.
Okay, I'll take that as no. All right, any discussion? No? All those in favor of approving resolution 795, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item is 796, item 12 on the agenda. You guys jumped all over 795 when I was away.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve resolution 796, rescinding resolution 790 for audit services.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Alderman Yulidol. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving resolution 796, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item is number 13, Lake Fest.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve resolution 797, special event permit for Smithville Lake Fest.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? This is only in Courtyard Park this year, correct? And we are still keeping an eye on recommendations for Clay County.
That is correct. It is in Courtyard Park, but there are street closures in the adjacent streets.
Yeah. Any questions? All those in favor of approving resolution 797, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is number 14, 798, also related to Lake Fest.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve resolution 798, temporary liquor license.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alderwoman Wilson got that one. All those, any discussion on this one? All right. All those in favor of approving resolution 798, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Do we have any other public comment? No? I had a couple of people say they're going to email one in, talk about Alderman Chevalier, but it didn't happen, I guess. Next is Next is appointments. First is Finance Committee. So Finance Committee, I want to thank Alderman Blumker for his service in helping getting that going, and Alderwoman Wilson for continuing, and Alderman Sarver. I nominate both of them for Finance Committee. Linda, do we need a voice vote or a roll call vote on this?
Roll call.
All right, please call roll.
Do you want to do them separately or together?
do them together on finance, or do you want to do all four together? Can we do that?
That's up.
Or do you want to just do finance? Let's just do finance
Let's
first.
do finance first.
All right.
Okay. Alderman Sarver,
Abstain?
Alderwoman Wilson,
Abstain.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Blumker,
Aye.
Alderman Chevalier,
Aye.
Alderman Uladell.
Aye.
4-2.
Thank you. Alderman Sarver, welcome to the Finance Committee. Next, can I do fire and NRAD together since they're the same people? All right, I'm going to nominate, I'll just do fire. Alderman Atkins, Alderman Uladell for the Fire District Liaison. Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Uladell,
Abstain.
Alderman Chevalier,
Aye.
Alderman Blumker,
Aye.
Alderwoman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Sarver,
Aye.
Alderman Atkins.
Abstain.
4-2.
Awesome, we got our Fire District Liaison. We meet about twice a year. Have we talked to Chief at all recently? Ms.
We
Wagner?
have not had a conversation lately on that. We need to get on that again, probably.
Okay. Next one is School District Liaison. I'm going to nominate Alderman Blumker and Alderman Chevalier. Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Sarver,
Aye.
Alderwoman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Uladell,
Aye.
Alderman Chevalier,
Abstain from this discussion.
Alderman Blumker.
Abstain.
4-2.
Welcome back to, I think you've both been on this one before, haven't you? We're all going to meet together anyway, but I think the liaisons just have to go to all the school board meetings and attend the entire meeting. So
Now that they're online, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Next, NRAD liaison, Alderman Atkins, Alderman Uladell. We meet on this one about the same as fire a couple times a year. So clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Sarver,
Aye.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye. Abstain.
okay. Alderwoman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Chevalier,
Aye.
Alderman Uladell,
Abstain.
Alderman Blumker.
Aye.
4-2.
All right, welcome to the NRAD liaison meeting. And we only had one of those last year, right, Cynthia? Yeah.
That's
okay.
correct.
All right. We'll see how that works out. They have a new director, right? So we probably need to have a meeting sometime.
Correct. Yes. Jason James started earlier this year.
All right. Any new business for the floor? I will be out of town for the next meeting. Alderman Blumker has graciously agreed to lead that meeting. Please bring your A game in making his life difficult. I will be at planning and zoning though. And I will be at the finance committee meeting next week. With no new business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Alderman Sarver.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Alderman Uladell. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. All right, we stand adjourned. Thanks, everyone.